Hi everyone, we're going to have a look at the psychic phase now. We're going to follow a similar format to what we've done before. Look at what the core rules have to say, and then maybe play out an example. And we have a malignant plague caster eyeing up some deadly psychic powers against an intercessor squad. So let's see how this plays out. First and foremost, the psychic sequence. It says number 1, choose a psyker and power.
Yep.
2, make a psychic test. 3, the enemy makes a deny the witch test. And 4, resolve the psychic power.
Okay.
So let's just go through that one at a time, Mike. 1,
yep.
Choose the psyker and power. So Mike, would you like to select a psychic?
I'll take the playcaster.
Okay, and let's have a look at what psychic powers the playcaster has got. All psykers come with smite, which is a ability to dish out D3 mortal wounds to an enemy unit, but also the Death Guard have 3 additional psychic powers. What's the first one? We have Miasma of Pestilence, the next one is Gift of Contagion, and the last one is Plague Wind. So shall we, for the sake of argument, say Plague Wind?
Yep.
In this one? We'll choose that one. I mentioned mortal wounds there. What is a mortal wound? Well, according to the rules, a mortal wound is a wound that essentially you can't make a save against. And what that means, well, let's just have a look at the ruling. Some attacks inflict mortal wounds. These are so powerful that no armor or force field can withstand their fury. Each mortal wound inflicts 1 point of damage on the target unit. Do not make a wound roll or a saving throw, including invulnerability saves, against mortal wounds. Just allocate it as you would other wounds and inflict damage to a model in the target unit as described above. So it's just like, unlike rather normal attacks, this damage, there is a second part to the rule. Okay. Unlike normal attacks, excess damage from attacks that inflict mortal wounds is not lost. Instead, they keep allocating damage to another model in the target unit. So mortal wounds really are powerful. Yeah. They'll carry over to other models. You can really start to knock units off, and unless that unit has got some kind of an ability that gives it a save against a mortal wound, and there are a few we've seen in the examples so far. The Eldar Farseer, for instance, can save against a mortal wound using the Ghost Helm.
Yep, I think the Avatar might be another one with these molten armor.
That's correct, yes. So you do get some of the units do get saves against mortal wounds, but the reality is vast majority aren't going to be able to do anything about that. So mortal wounds pretty powerful. Right, let's have a look then. We've chosen our attack, and now we need to kind of move forward. So unless otherwise stated, all psykers know the smite attack. Well, we're not going to use that. Some know other powers instead, or an additional to smite. So the model's data sheet or other supplementary rules will make it clear what the power can have and generate. Now this is an important point. We picked a psychic power, but that's not necessarily how it's always done, is it?
No, so you could roll a dice to see what psychic powers you're going to get.
Yes. Good point. And unlike 7th edition, a lot of the psychic powers we're seeing in the first books, they've just been reduced down to 3 psychic powers per faction, really, haven't they? So it's a D3. So it has simplified things a lot if you were used to the psychic powers within 7th edition. Okay. Right, the first thing we need to do is make a psychic test. So the psyker can attempt to manifest a psychic power they know by taking a psychic test. To do so, roll 2d6. If the total is equal to or greater than the power's warp charge value, the power is successfully manifested. Psyker cannot attempt to manifest the same psychic power more than once per turn.
Right, okay.
So pretty important. Let's just check on here. Plague Wind. What does it say in terms of the charge value?
So Plague Wind has a warp charge value of 5. So I need to get 5 on 2d6. So it's quite a low number, but we're going to see what the rolling's like. So I've passed that on a 10.
Excellent. Right, I'm in trouble. Well, there is a section on perils of the warp. The good news is, Mike, you haven't perilled.
And what do I need to do to peril?
Double 1 or a double 6. So again, another change that people used to 7th edition. The psyker, should they peril from the warp, suffers D3 mortal wounds as basically the forces of the warp completely messes them up.
Yeah, so although there's bonuses to doing psychic abilities, it could also go very wrong for you as well.
The good news is it went off, but before you resolve the power, I get an opportunity to deny the witch.
Okay.
So a psyker can attempt to resist a psychic power that's been manifested by an enemy model within 24 inch by taking a deny the witch test. To do that, I have to roll 2d6 and I have to get greater than your result. So you've rolled pretty well, you've rolled a 10. In this instance of the small game, I don't actually have a psyker.
Okay.
Within
So it's only
inch.
psykers that can attempt.
So only psykers that can attempt to do it. So I can't do anything to stop this from happening. If I had a psyker, I'd roll a dice. If I beat 10, the power just simply wouldn't happen, or I'd roll 2 dice actually.
Okay.
Not going to be able to do that. So next we move on to resolving the psychic power. So long as the psychic test was successful and the psychic did not die as a result of peril of the warp, and the attempt was not thwarted by deny the witch, yes, we've gone through all of that, then you can resolve the effect of the power as described in the power itself. So do you want to just tell me what this does?
So if we dive in here, so Plague Wind. If manifested, select a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of the psyker, roll 1 dice for each model in that unit. The unit suffers a mortal wound for each roll of a 6.
Ouch.
So it's quite painful, but it is on a 6.
Okay, so there's 5 models in that unit, so that's 5 dice.
There is 3 sixes, 3 sixes there.
So that's 3 mortal wounds.
3 mortal wounds.
And this unit has no kind of ability to stop mortal wounds.
No. But
So
how many wounds do they have each?
Oh, that's a good
They
point.
might have more than 1 wound.
Indeed, they have 2 wounds each.
2 wounds.
So that's great news. So that's 1 dead. And then I need to put a wound marker next to the other one to say he's down to 1 wound.
Now, it doesn't end there for this playcaster. There is a bonus to this as well. So I need to read it out for you.
Pestilential fallout.
Thank you. Each time this model successfully manifests a psychic power with a psychic test of 7 or more, which we did because we rolled on a 10,
Yeah.
the nearest enemy unit within 7 inches suffers a mortal wound after the effects of the psychic power have been resolved.
So I took 3 mortal wounds from the resolution of the first psychic power, and now, because I'm within 7 inches...
You're the only unit there, so it does mean that...
one that removes the wound from that model.
Well, so that was quite a nasty psychic ability, that was.
That's good. If you're in a crowd with that guy, it's brilliant.
Yes.
Okay, well, we hope that made things clear for everyone on the psychic phase. Of course, there's many abilities across all the different factions. We're all going to have a lot of fun with this.
It may be worth pointing out as well on psychic abilities, there is some that will do damage to the enemy, but also you can buff your own units as well with psychic abilities.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, and certainly a lot of the Eldar ones are actually about making your units more effective than they are dishing out harm to the enemy. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the series.